At that point, you're at rock bottom. File size 4 GB this reads. So what is it gonna fucking turn off? It said maximum file size. If I can't finish the story and it just turns off randomly, it is what it is. But um, yeah, it's like luckily though everything worked out in this weird way. We met some people that this couple, they chilled out with us, and I remember they were like, actually there's this program over here by the pier. If you can call somebody from the hometown you're at or whatever, and they let you stay them, we'll call them and we'll see if it's okay. One of my homies from school, Troy, shout out to Troy. We don't even hang out that much, but like back in high school, I knew him, and we weren't like super tight or anything like that. But like, you know, it felt like a family. I went to an alternative school for a little bit, but then I had to go back to the public school because I needed the structure. Funny enough, like I was going to a regular high school, and then I dropped out of high school, and then I ended up going back to school. But then I went to this new alternative school. That was very small, and so you really get to know people a lot faster because there's not a lot of students. It wasn't anything fancy. It was just an alternative school, you know. It was free. It was a public school, but it was alternative. But then I ended up dropping out again, and then I had some stuff happen in my life where I'm like, dude, I need to graduate, and I end up having to go back to the regular high school because I thought somebody was rolling up. Because I needed that structure. I needed having that structure. Sorry, guys, I'm not even smoking much, but I feel like I gotta upload this video regardless. Hey, ever ascending syndrome. That dude's cool. Follow him up. He's getting his YouTube. His YouTube's going up. I think he's got more subscribers. I've been looking. I gotta reply back to his comments. If you're watching this, bro, shout out to you. I don't think he's subscribed to me. You should subscribe, bro. We're brothers in iron, brother. We're brothers in iron, brother. Oh, yeah. But, yeah. So, but by the powers that be, man. So I'm hanging out with this couple for a little bit on my last days because then I end up working it out. Like Troy ends up helping me. And then they give you a $50 McDonald's gift card and then a bus ticket to your destination. So then I end up taking a fucking bus all the way back to New York. And after that, I had to go through some shit even when I was back. Not New York City, New York State. Live in a small city. I wouldn't even really call it a city. I don't want to give too much. I don't want to like tell people where I live. But it's center New York. All right. And luckily it was summertime, but I was still on my fuck shit, bro. I was still trying to get a bunch of puss and all this stuff. And I felt like I had to be in a certain energy, especially when you're like smoking, bro. To me, it was like I was like possessed almost, brother. Like in a bad way. I think there's some things to get possessed by. Like that sounds wrong, but like the gym, you know, there's certain things that drive you, that fuel you, and I think you got to find a healthier alternative that fuels you, bro. So it got to a point, man, where I was like, you know, because I was only staying at his house for a little bit, and then after that, you know, even my own dad was trying to help me. He was like, yo, you can stay with me, and I was like, nah, man, because if I'm around your energy, it's not going to give me the things that I want, which is not true, actually. It's actually false. But whatever bullshit I was on mentally, I was like, no, that, you know, I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. So I was still sleeping outside because I was already used to it. But it was warm out, and I remember like I was grabbing cardboard boxes, and I was like putting it over my head, and I was fucking, you know. But by the powers that be, you know, people that saw me and knew me kind of, they were like, hey, man, you want to crash with me? Kind of worked out, but I was still smoking and stuff, and I was living with this one couple for a little bit, but I ended up crashing out on them, bro. Like, you know, because for whatever reasons, we're cool now. Like, I see them and we're like chit chatting, but we had like a huge argument at the end. But a lot of it was also my fault, and I was blaming them because I was like, you guys are being passive aggressive. Why don't you just say this shit? I could pick it up in the air. Like, but if you could pick it up in the air, you got to be a little bit considerate. So I was working. I was working as a mover, but it wasn't like consistent. It wasn't a consistent job. But it was so hard for me to work at that time, dude. It was really hard. I just didn't like whatever the splits, bro. It's like it sedates you, brother. Like it was sedating me at least. I just wanted to be like. I feel like Small Brain American said this too. He was like in like South America, and he was like, yeah, the energy was just weird. It's like people wake up and smoke spliffs in the morning, and they're just kind of like, yeah, man, like that's what it was. And I just didn't want to do shit. It was really hard. I was still mentally like very like I was in this weird passive state, and I fucking hated it, dude, because that just wasn't me, bro. that was not me. Like before all that shit went down, like it wasn't me, man. You know, my dad is a very strong, intense guy. I picked that up as well, you know, lifting and hoisting weights and all this stuff. So it just really like ruined my personality and like took away my character in a lot of fucking ways. My heart was there, but like, you know, you can't just be all heart, brother. You can't just be all lovey-dovey bullshit, brother. You got to be like, nah, fuck that, fuck you, get the fuck away from me. So I wasn't practicing a lot of my anger. You know what I mean? Anger is like important. Even Mr. Rogers has a segment of that because your anger is telling you something is fucking wrong. You know what I mean? And you might not always be right when you're angry, but like something is wrong. You know what I mean? It's like I think it's okay to sit with your anger. Don't rage out, but sit with it because if you're not practicing it, you might have a fucking crash out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to be Mr. like, yeah, I'm so ascended, I'm so deep and spiritual and blah blah blah. And then it's like, you know, God or whatever is like, no, you're not. And then something will happen, you go, motherfucker, like flip the fuck out, man. So it's like in my mind, it's so important to like, you know, practice your anger. When you're pissed off, you pissed off, and then you'll probably lighten up again or something like that. You know what I mean? And then the balance, like fucking wangs and twains. You know, you find the pendulum. So I went like all the way from up like being pretty damn passive to like all the way up here. I'm like, yeah, fuck that, fuck you. Like, you know, I'm getting into like yelling fits with people and shit like that. You know, after a certain point when I stopped smoking, but I'll keep telling the story basically. But so I was living with them, we crashed out. But then my other homie at the time, he was like, yo, you can live with me, man. You know, just like fucking, it was out in the country. I mean, there's no bars out here. There's nothing, dude. Like, it was like, I remember I was so bored out there that I walked an hour in the snow to this like really small bar just so I can like chill out and be like social, which I think is important. I think we crave that. And if you crave that, don't lie to yourself, you know? Don't lie to yourself about that. I think some things you crave may not be good, but like, you know, you'll figure it out. Like, it's exciting. You want excitement in your life. I want excitement in my life. Sometimes it's not just about being like, whoa, yeah, all over the place, but you'll figure that out for yourself. You know, you want to look good and hot and impress girls? Look good and hot and impress girls. Then your motives might change. And you might still have that, like, yeah, I'm impressive and it feels good, but, like, you know, you don't have to be that guy who's just like, no, I don't care about any of that, man. You know, it's like, yeah, but you probably do. You know what I mean? You probably do. You are a human, brother. You're not transcending shit. You're still here, brother. You're not going to transcend until you die. It doesn't make sense. What are you going to just become ether? You know what I mean? Oh, like, it doesn't work that way. Like, but that's what I've seen. But anyways, there too, I ended up, you know, my cousin was like, hey, they're hiring over here. Very easy job, dishwashing job, all this shit. And you guys, like, before all this, I used to be like a bartender. I used to be a bouncer at a nightclub, a few nightclubs actually. And yeah, you know, so it's just like I was in the scene. But like the thing with the weed, it just gave me a lot of self-doubt and like all these type of feelings. And you know, now that I've stopped, I get these little tweak out moments, man, because it's traumatizing, brother. But probably for a good reason. It's like a healthy traumatization. You know, I just would be like, no, this isn't the way, and maybe so. I don't know, but I'm still smoking this shit. I should just roll up another one. This is gonna be a long ass video. It came a point at his house when I was just like, I need to fucking stop. I need to fucking stop, bro. And when I stopped, like, you know, it wasn't perfect afterwards, but I felt like I had more control because I think the problem is when you go into a lot of that spiritual crap, they talk about like your ego and letting go of control and all this shit. That is bad. That is in loose terms, or the word I'll use is the devil, brother. That is the fucking devil. Like, you're not gonna have control over everything, but you're still an atomic being, brother. And they're like, listen to the universe. Dude, you are the universe. You can't not be the universe because you are the universe, brother. So it's just like, you know, I had to get tapped back into that anger, or it would come out in certain ways and all this shit. Usually come out when I wasn't smoking. Like, if I, like, until I had that, then I was like, I'm safe and I'm good. Yeah, don't bother me, please. You know, it was fucking, dude. Oh, God, dude. It was disgusting. I hated it. I hated it, brother. God. Like, fuck. But it got me to that point. I ended up getting to a point, and I just like, fuck this. You know, and I don't even like talking about it. Like, yeah, I'm clean, like all that shit. I don't like talking about it. I don't like doing all that shit. It just is what it is, brother. But for me, that shit fucked me up. Like, and I just didn't like it, and that's why I'd rather have a beer and smoke. And I'm more balanced out. I'm more balanced out. I don't take things in so like seriously. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't get too wrapped up on a lot of certain concepts, and when I do, sometimes I bounce back out of it a lot easier. Because I think the thing with like smoking weed and spliffs, it wants to bring you back into this place of like comfort, like serious comfort. And I don't think there's anything wrong with your comfort zone. I was saying earlier in the video, like it might be easier if you want to bust out a bunch of reps, do it in your comfort zone, do it in your home, do it in your fucking room, put on something that motivates you and inspires you, and then do some 20 push-ups, do another 20 push-ups, bam, shablam, thank you, man. But yeah, man. So like, I don't even know the whole point. The whole point, basically, is because I realize it's just like, dude, if I want to do the things that I want to do, if I want to have some beers, I want to have some fun, I want to feel good about myself, I don't want the thoughts, because when you're smoking pot, the shit just, like all these thoughts, and then you try to transcend it. But while you're trying to transcend it, you're not really transcending it, you're just tricking yourself that you're transcending it, but you're not actually dealing with that type of shit that you want to deal with, and that might, you have to deal with. And there's certain things that, yeah, when I was on that track, not even just the weed, but like the spiritual stuff, whatnot, there's a lot of good there, but then also you got to bring it over here. You got to bring it and then like right in the middle, brother, and it's just like sometimes it's not that serious, bro. You're not going to be, killing giants with a sword. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully not, brother. Like that would suck. But yeah, man, like it's just fucking, yeah, just keep it simple. Keep it grounded. You don't have to, like, I met motherfuckers that are like, yeah, I was like, they're so lost in their what they believe they are compared to what they actually are. There's this one fucking dude, and like, when I was smoking stuff, I was way too lighthearted. I was like, I wouldn't crack ass on motherfuckers anymore and shit like that. I crack ass on them now. I'm just like, dude, I can't even take you seriously, bro. And they really believe. They'll trick you. They'll talk to you like, no, you don't understand. See, it's like trying to hypnotize you. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking like that, bro? And it makes sense why my dad was getting irritated around me. He's like, what the fuck? Like, he's looking at me like I was fucking crazy, bro. He's like, what the fuck? Why are you talking like that, bro? But I met motherfuckers like that. I know this one dude, he's talking about how he's in the CIA, all this type of stuff. And like, I would do sparring out in the park. I'll probably start it up again once it gets warmer again. But I'd be sparring in the park with my friends. We get like boxing gloves on and shit like that. Nothing crazy. We would hit in the face, but we're not like hitting like hard. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll get like pissed. But he'd be like, I'm in CIA. And I'm like, okay, yo, that's cool. So like, why don't you spar with us? I mean, if you're so nice with it, you can teach us something, brother. You can teach us something, brother. And these motherfuckers, they'll act like they transcend it. That's how you know that they're full of fucking shit a lot of times. So they'll act like they transcended this thing. He's like, see, Evan, what you don't understand is that my power is so great that I might hurt you guys. And I was like, dude, if you're so good at what you're claiming to be good at, you should be able to hold back. That means you're not as good. If you're a CIA operative and all this shit, you should be able to hold back and do light sparring and shit. So just all this bullshit. He's talking to me like, I don't know what to believe about him. Like, he's like, yeah, this girl Makoto back in Japan. Sorry, bro, if you're watching. This is about you. I won't name drop, but I'm just like, dude, you're full of shit. I think you're full of, and finding the balance too. You don't have to be such a dickhead, but, I don't have to be like, you're fucking full of shit. But sometimes, man, it's like, the high road, you can take the slider high road. You don't have to take this virtuous, like, persona of what you think the high road is. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. This is a long-ass video. And I kind of just want to chill now. I'm getting myself really amped up about this. This is about 50 minutes long. So, if you guys stick around and watch this, kudos to you, bro. I'm going to upload this just because it's authentic. And I want to be consistent with my uploads, man. I really believe that if I'm just like consistent with this shit, it's gonna pay off. And I think it's dope. And I guess the moral with that, I don't want to constantly have like story time, I want to actually have some videos where I'm just drinking and I'm just like, yeah, man, like this is good, and like that. I ain't no teacher, take what I'm saying for what I'm saying. This is just my experience. I'm not trying to get, because those type of people, and I realized the way I was before, it's like they want you so bad to accept what they're hearing as truth. because it makes them feel good. And I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But like at the same time, it can become like culty. You know what I mean? It's fucking weird, dude. It's weird, bro. And like those people, you gotta watch out for a lot of the times because they'll speak as though they know the truth. Honestly, it's like a lot of Christians too. Like I've met Christians like that as well, where I'm like, you know, I do believe there's a higher power and all that type of shit, but you know, and I believe there's a lot of like truth in the Bible and all that shit. But when they're trying to basically guilt trip you and make you feel like shit because you don't believe in what they believe, and they're like, no, because what you see here, it says this. I mean, I wasn't there, and this book has been translated like 1,000 times, but this is the truth, and this is what this means. Don't read it yourself and think for yourself. Listen to me. They won't say that. But that's, you know, they have this very totalitarian, I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I'm saying, mindset and speech patterns to them, brother. And there's a lot of people like that comes to a lot of things. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's just like whatever. There is what it is. And hey, I'm sorry this video is so fucking long. I barely even finished this shit. And I want to start chilling out because I didn't think I would talk about this long. I was literally going to just have more beers and just be like, okay, I'll make a video when I'm inspired. But then like right when I took a puff out of my smoke, I was like, no, I'll just start now and see whatever fucking comes out of my fucking mouth. You know what I mean? But that's my crazy ass story. So, and like, if you want to hear more weird coincidence I have, I don't care. If I'm in the mood to talk about it, I'll talk about it. But I also don't think it's a thing to focus on it. Like, if it happens, it happens. It is what it is. I used to get so caught up into it. It's like, oh my God, what does this mean? So everything I thought is true, you know? And you might have those moments. But not to get so caught up and lose yourself into it because now you're just going into the void, bro. You're going into a fucking tunnel. And I personally believe, in my mind, that God, or whatever you want to call it, is like a loving parent. And a loving parent doesn't want you to be all lost in the void. The loving parent wants you to have a foundation, wants you to have structure, wants you to be able to have, in my opinion, like joy and fun and seriousness at times when you need to be serious, when you need to get to the grind of things. It wants you to have a house. It wants you to have structure, brother. And maybe it'll go on things, but it wants you to be safe, man. It wants you to be okay. It wants you to feel safe within yourself. That's what I believe, at least, you know, and that's what I've seen. And friends I have lately, it's funny, like a lot of them, we all kind of talk about these things. And it's just out of pure coincidence, bro. And it's fucking weird, dude. Like, the friends I have now, God, maybe I can save this for another time. I'm really on a tangent right now. But, you know, it's like a fucking hour-long fucking video. Probably get like no views, but if you stuck through and watched everything, thanks, man. I appreciate it, and I'm gonna keep making more videos, and I really enjoy this. Like, if you watch my older videos, a lot of them I was like stoned and I was just like rambling, and there was no like consistency. A lot of the times there wasn't a lot of structure, and even a lot of those videos, like I just kind of like they're there. But, and I watch them sometimes, and I'm like, yo, I'm saying some real shit here, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, oh, God, fuck, I like tinge a little bit, you know? They're like, you love yourself, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever that means, brother. Like, it's all this hippy-dippy crap, dude. And I'm speaking from somebody who is really in all that hippy-dippy crap, brother. But I don't think it's the way. I don't think it's the way. I think you can learn stuff from there. You can open yourself up to God, all that type of stuff. But structure, brother, foundation. You know, keeping a little bit straight and narrow. You don't need to get all loosey-goosey. Don't be open to everything. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You're everything? How am I everything? Well, if you think about it this way, I don't care. Doesn't make any sense to me at that point. I'm not the sun. We live in a physical reality. I have to go over there to touch you. There might be some other things happening, but I could take some of that information, put it in, cool, awesome. But a lot of it, sometimes you get on a power trip. And I think that's the thing that happens to these people. They get on a serious power trip. And they don't even realize it. I didn't even realize it, you know. So if you're in that place, you know, get a little stupid. You know, there's Elisha Long. You know, he's talking about retard maxing. Get a little dumb. Get a little stupid, man. Be okay with sounding ignorant sometimes. Be okay with being wrong. You know, maybe I'm wrong. There's a good song by this one guy. It's like I forgot what it's called. I think he was in the Sex Pistols, but he had his own Randy Rand or some shit. He's like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Anger is an energy. Anger is an energy. And it's not about being angry all the time, but you know, it's just like it's there for a reason, bro. And you're in this place, whether you like it or not. Like it is what it is. You want to go up to the mountains and be a fucking Buddhist monk and try to get away from everything? Cool. That's your prerogative. But for me, you know, I have people I care about. You're gonna have to suffer sometimes emotionally. Some things are gonna hurt you, but it doesn't always have to be so bad. And I think a lot of these people are just trying to escape from reality, and that's the thing. And they'll try to convince you up and down that that's not the thing. And I think that they're fucking loony. And it's speaking from somebody like that, man. You know, and I look back on my past a lot, and I'm like, wow. So, you know what? To end this, I'm gonna chill. I'm just gonna smoke. If you're still here, let's light up this cigarette and let's smoke. And you know, I'm feeling myself, bro. Let's get fucking. If you're into the working out, damn, bro, I look fucking jacked when I'm flexing like this. Like, yeah, brother. You know what's going on, brother? Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. All right, brother. You know, well, let's get jacked for the summer. You know, because when the summer comes, it goes for me too. And you're not where you want to be. You're gonna be like, fuck, man. So it's just like, let's get some jackness going on. When summertime comes out, we can flaunt it out, have a good time. Don't get too focused on how people see you. You want to feel yourself, brother. You want to feel yourself at times. Then you want to open up a little bit, be like, yeah, man, you know. And then you want to go in. That's what I do, at least. That's, you know, I'm not. I always try to say I'm not trying to like tell you what you need to do, because it could be hypnotizing sometimes. You're watching your YouTuber. He's like, you need to do this. You need to do that. And you're like, oh, I guess that's what I need to do. They sound pretty confident. They must be right. You know, I'm like, this is just me. This is just my experience, bro. Like, that's why I think if you're smoking this shit, maybe have a fucking beer. You know, sometimes beer, you know, you obviously moderation, but like sometimes beer can be a nice, like I guess humbling. You can call it that, but it brings you down to earth. That's what I'm saying. It brings you down to earth. I feel like weed brings you out of earth. You know, beer can bring you down to earth. If you mix the two, a little bit weird, but you know, down to earth, have some stogies and stuff. And if you are trying to quit or whatever the fuck, it's gonna be a long withdrawal, brother. Like it's been I hate fucking saying it because I don't even want to go there. But it's been a while. It's taken me like a while. It's taken me like a fucking year, really to balance a lot of stuff out. You know what I mean? And like it just keeps getting better and better and better. And you figure yourself. I've been figuring myself out more again. And it's simple, man. Just keeping life fucking simple. Like, oh god. It was traumatizing, brother. Like it was. I don't even like bringing it up. I'm not. This isn't a marathon. This isn't any of that shit. It just is what it is. And this is, you know, it scares me. I get scared thinking about it. My body like tenses up, which is good. Like for me personally, you know. But yeah, you know, if it's working for you, cool, man. That's awesome. This is a good one. I really like this one. It's fucking good. Now I'm starting to feel the cold. I come in here and I was like, damn, it's pretty warm. But you know, now that I'm feeling myself again, I'm chilled out. I actually feel warmer. It's weird how that works. You just like kind of stop stressing. You don't just like let yourself go and like get like retarded. Maybe I guess you could do that, but like mentally putting yourself in that place, you're just like, yeah, no, yeah, cool, yeah, you know. Now I feel warmer. Cheers. It's literally one beer. After this, I'm gonna chill, put on some music, might go out. We'll see. I got work in the morning, so I had a good time last night. I hanged out with some friends. Had a really good time. Met this really beautiful girl. She thought I was like cute. My friend told me she thought I was cute, so then we all hung out. And you know, at first I was like, you know, just try to be you, man. Even like I'm like, dude, if I'm gonna be chilling with a girl, like you see how I am in this video, I want to. There's gonna be times where I'm like that. I'm not always gonna be Mr. Cool, Mr. Feeling myself, Mr. Sexy. You know what I mean? And it might be sexy to them if they're like really superficial and shit. You know, it really depends. It really depends on the girl, man. I don't like a lot of the new stuff where it's like the dating scene is hard, like blah blah blah. all the best relationships I've had just kind of happened. You know what I mean? They kind of just came to me. Like, it wasn't like I was really out there searching for it, realistically. Like, my first girlfriend, like, not my first girlfriend, but my first love or whatever, the German girl, it was like, I should just make this for another video, because this is a long fucking video. But my first, like, German girlfriend, basically, I'll make it in another video, but I'll tell you now. It was like, met her through a friend. I was just me, silly, goofy. It got to a point where she's like, do you ever shut up? You know what I mean? And, like, it didn't bother me. I just laughed about it. And it didn't bother me. It was so fucking weird. I didn't even find her that attractive. It was weird. I didn't find her that attractive. I was just like, whatever, you know. But now I look back, I was like, oh, yeah, she's really pretty. You know, like, she's super pretty. But, and then it just happened. And we dated for like 2 years. Another girlfriend was also German as well. I remember at this time I was still smoking. But, I remember, kind of icky situation, but I remember I was on Tinder and I was like in Germany at the time, and I was looking for puss, and but then I kind of had a thing with my ex who I was still friends with at the time, and you know, then me and her, we kind of had like a little thing, and then I kind of just stopped caring, and then I changed my bio on Tinder. I was like just looking for somebody to smoke pot with, and then this girl hits me up. She's like, I have weed. You want to hang out? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I had like the best night ever at that time in my life. It was really fun, just being super goofy and just be like, ah. And I was actually kind of nervous. I was nervous to like kiss her at the time and stuff. That's where it's like being able to feel like she felt like we were like, she's like, oh, I thought we were like more friends. But like it was only 3 days. We like hung out every day for 3 days. And then like I had to catch a plane. But then funny enough, I lost my passport. And I was looking in the airport for like 2 hours. And by the time I got my passport, I missed my flight. So I had to stay there for another week. But in a weird way, it was cool because then we end up fucking hanging out. And then, you know, the rest is history. You know, I go in for the kiss and all that type of shit. But my point with all that is it just fucking happened. You know, it was just because I wasn't so fixated on trying to get a fucking girl and all that shit that it just fucking happened. You know, and it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. And I was still looking sexy and thinking about looking good. And that made me feel good. And all that type of stuff. And when you feel that way, you know, like, I want to wear this because I like it. I think it's fucking cool. I'm dressing like this because I think it's cool. I think it's hot. I think it's, you know, this, that, and the third. When you're like that, you're not going out as much like, oh, do I look good? Do I look good? You just feel like you look good. You know what I mean? And stuff just naturally happens. And I'm such a talker. I like, this is like an hour long. I should end it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let's take a few drags. I hope you're enjoying your beer if you're still around. Let's take a few drags. And, yeah, brother. I'm going to end the video. It's just long. It's a long video. If you stuck around, thank you. Feel free to subscribe because I'm going to keep making more. Definitely not as long as this one, but I'm sure there's going to be some long ones. And in the future, I want to start, like, I'm going to probably go on some trips here and there. I want to document some shit. Eventually, I'm going to go to Japan. God willing, I go to Japan, and I do want to make a fucking, like a little vlog style, like a small brain American kind of vlog. Going into some bars, having drinks with the locals. I really want to go to kind of like a dingy, not like crazy dangerous, but like a dingy kind of like karaoke bar. Maybe there's some like old heads. They're like, oh yeah, come and I'm like, oh yeah, we're just fucking smoking some cigs and singing karaoke and shit. Like, I want to make some videos like that. So, in time. I think my next trip is going to be Seattle. Damn, I don't shut up. I don't shut up. I'm like, let's be cool here and smoke, bro. After this is over, okay? I think people want to hear me talk, though. I think that's the thing. Like, we can smoke and talk. You know, how are you doing? You doing all right? You doing good? You doing all right? Okay. All right. It was good to know. I wanted to know. I wanted to know, bro. Should I do backwards or forward hat? I like it backwards. It looks cool with this. I'm rocking my knees. Not really, actually. But I'm rocking some sweats. I don't usually rock sweats. Rocking some, like, fucking sneakers. I was like, yeah, man. I was watching some, you know, like, old school aesthetics. Flexing like that. Dude just, like, wearing sweats and a pull off. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I like that. I want to rock that. So, rocking that. Usually, a lot of times when I go out, I'll wear, like, like a cool dress shirt, you know, kind of have the like button down like here, having some chest hair out, um, you know, some nice shoes. But tonight I'm like, I'm gonna rock this, man. This is gonna be a long one. This is gonna be a long one. Yeah, get my ears pierced. I mean, we're still young, you know. Look your best. Do your best to look your best, man. It's a part of life. It's not all about that. You got motherfuckers like look Maxine, and that like has a place. You want to try to look the best you can, cool. But also like be yourself. Be in your anime. Be in your video games. Be about your hippy dippy shit. The shit I'm talking about, whatever. That's what I like to talk about. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? You don't want to lose that like joy within yourself where you like enjoy hanging out with yourself. You know, like just to impress people. Like I think there's a place to be like that, but you know, there's fractions or there's factors. There's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. If you're just all looks, then you're just like no personality. It's just like, dude, you're just a fucking robot. You got that fucking dude Cal Vickler or whatever the fuck his name is. It's just like, all right, psychopath, you know, a little bit, you know, not really connected. You're just like, but that dude is like what, 20? Like he's young as fuck. He's influenced by all these dudes and shit like that. Like I don't want to say I kind of feel bad for him, but it just is what it is, you know. When I was that age, I was definitely more like that, you know. I was definitely more like that. So it makes a lot of sense. But as you get older, I feel like you kind of balance it out. Because I'm like 31. I'm going to be 32 soon. But it balances itself out. But at the end of the day, it's like you're still young. 32 is young. When you're 40, you're going to be like, man, I wish I was 30. When you're 50, you're going to be, damn, when I was 40. You know, and I'm only saying this because I've heard it from other guys. I've heard it from other people, men and women, that are older. And they say the same shit. You know, I mean, you're still young. Just because you're in your 30s doesn't mean you have to have, like, some people be like, you need your, like, as long as you got, in my mind, as long as I got structure and I got money and I'm doing the things that I like to do and enjoy, that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? It's some people have different priorities and they might project that on you. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're able to sustain that, that's all I try to preach. If I'm preaching, is the foundation and the structure. And you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But it's a long ass video. At that point, I think I'm gonna end this freaking video because it's very long. And if you've stuck through, cool, man. I have to upload it just because I spilled it. I spilled it out, so I'm gonna upload it. But you know, I'll make more, and not every video is gonna be a banger, slinger. It's not gonna be for everybody. But yeah, it went from lifting to all this other shit. So I don't even know what to title this. Maybe I'll just make it blank. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, man. All right. Okay. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for fucking staying tuned. This is like a fucking